How you doing, everybody? It's the 9th of January 2010, and it's lunchtime, and beautiful day outside, as you can see behind my head. The sun shining brightly. It was snowed all morning, but the actual temperature, the external temperature, is still -6, -7. So just, my mantra: stay well, stay safe, okay, stay warm. I've tried making this little post a couple of times, and I haven't been very successful because I keep losing my temper, and I should not do that. You only get 10 minutes to do these posts, and some of them, because of the figures and because of all the shenanigans and all the people that are involved, it's complicated. So you run out of time, and very, very quickly you run out of time. And then on top of that, if you start losing your temper, you don't get the thrust of it across. So I'm going to try and remain calm and cool doing this. And this is about a group of people at the top of our society, specifically bankers and politicians, and how they write their own rules just as they go along. They just write their own rules just as they go along. And what it's about is it's about a bank, a publicly quoted bank on the Dublin and London stock exchanges. It's called IL&P, Irish Life and Permanent. I think it's about the 5th biggest bank in Ireland, 4th or 5th biggest bank in Ireland. And what they do is they specialise generally in, apart from insurance, life insurance, obviously they do that, but their main thrust of where they get their money from is through private mortgages, and they're the biggest issuer of private mortgages in Ireland, okay? And they're headed up by a woman called Gillian Bowler. Alright, and Gillian Bowler, from day one, Gillian Bowler be a woman. I'm going to put a little photograph of her there, you can have a look at her. She wears sunglasses all the time, and she has this sort of slightly affected accent. And anyway, the bottom line about it is, she is the chairperson of this bank, and she's been, for most of her life, a massive accolade of Fianna Fáil, big Fianna Fáil supporter. And her first time she got introduced to Fianna Fáil politics and its whole shenanigans was through a personal friend of hers who was having a sexual affair with Charles J. Haughey, who was a Prime Minister of this country in the 80s and ran this country like he was a little dictator, an emperor. He thought he was Napoleon. That was his great hero. Napoleon was his great hero. Anyway, his mistress was a lady called Terry Keane. She's dead. Both of them are dead now. Charles J. Haughey is dead, and so is Terry Keane. But what happened was she had an ongoing relationship, because this is all in the public domain. She admitted it on the television in one of those shows, one of those chat shows. And her best friend is Gillian Bowler. So Gillian Bowler got introduced to Charles J. Haughey. Alright. So Charles J. Haughey and Gillian Bowler obviously struck up some sort of a relationship, and as a result of it, he appointed her to various semi-state boards, and she ended up throwing down small stipends and whatever. Maybe she did it for free, it doesn't matter. But anyway, she was on these boards, and that was it. And then what happened was an opportunity arose whereby she could make a lot of money. Alright? And what this opportunity consisted of was, very, very quickly, it consisted of a travel company, and she was about to buy the travel company. And she owned a travel company called Budget Travel Company. And these companies needed licenses to operate. Alright? And these licenses were not handed out very, very easily. So, you needed big contacts within the state to get these licenses. Because what it would mean is, if she got the license for this particular company that she was about to buy, this travel company that she was about to buy, it would mean she could transfer, it had 18 million euros of losses, and she could transfer the losses against the net profits of her own company, Budget Travel. Alright, and that's exactly what happened. The state issued her a license. She had bought the company at the stage. The state issued her a license, and she was able to transfer the losses of one company and offset it against the gains of the other company. Nice one if you can get it. Nice work if you can get it. Okay? Number one. So then she befriended, she worked through all the various governments. She went through the Charles J. Haughey government, then the Albert Reynolds government, then the Ahern government, and now she's dealing with the Biffo government. And she knows Biffle because Brian Cowan, because in 1983 he gave her he made her the chairperson of the Shannon Development Authority. Okay, so he's known her quite well since that time. And what happened was her bank went to the international market over the last month or so, and they used 3 international banks to raise a bond worth $1.75 billion. And I've put it up there and you have a wee read of it, okay, from yesterday's Irish Independent. And it gives you the skeleton of what went on. And I knew about this about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine ripped me on the phone from London. He had been talking to somebody who worked in Nomura Bank. This was done by 3 banks, by the way. This bond was raised on behalf of IL&P. JP Morgan in America, Deutsche Bank in Europe, and Nomura in the Far East. And he ribbed me on the phone saying that his contact in Nomura said that they'd never seen a prospectus like it in their life for this bond offering. That what happened was they were stunned. When they opened up the prospectus, in the middle of the prospectus was big headlines that the bond was underwritten by the Irish state, the Irish people. Okay. And this was in fact backed up by an addendum from Fitch's, the ratings agency, who under the statement from Brian Lenihan, it was Brian Lenihan's statement. Remember, 15 months ago, the end of 2008, he guaranteed all the banks. All right. So when I heard that, I said, no, that can't be true, because I remember that well. I remember I was working and I remember listening to him talking in dollar and all, and it only referred to existing debt. It didn't refer to future debt or debt that the banks would take on in the future. Well, he said, I can only tell you what I've been told from my contact in Nomura. And he said, that's like the fellow would have known. He's a Japanese fellow. He would have no reason to lie. So then I look at the article in yesterday's Independent, and sure enough, there it is. The write-up from Fitch's supporting the Lenihan thing. So what's obviously happened is Brian Cowan has obviously given it a thumbs up and said, Gillian, you're okay, work away. I'll get Brian Lenihan to square that and all that. Don't worry, we'll cover all that here. No, don't worry about that. That's what's happened. So all of a sudden, this woman can take her bank to the international marketplace, raise 1.75 billion, which is 1.25 approximately, or 1.3 billion euros, and we're underrating that as well. We're going to underrate all the money she gets from NAMA, but we're also going to underrate that. And then we've already given them money. I think we gave them 1.5. We certainly bought a big tranche of their shares anyway with the money we've already given them. I think so. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Anyway, it's friends in high places. You know where I'm coming from. But before I finish, I just want to touch on one thing. This is the woman who, in September of 2008, her bank loaned Anglo-Irish Bank 8 billion euros, 8,000 million euros, to fill a hole in Anglo-Irish's accounts. Now, simple questions posed. What was that secured against? How was that secured? And if it wasn't secured, why was it done? And for whose benefit was it done? Was there massive brown envelopes getting given out here? Or what was happening? Because it stinks of fraud to me if it wasn't properly secured. And even if it was properly secured, did that woman and the board of that bank, did they know they were participating in a fraud? Why would all of a sudden an Anglo-Irish bank want 8,000 million euros from a fellow bank? That's not normal banking practice. Anyway, that's all I want to raise here. As I say, I lost my temper in the last one. I'm not going to lose my temper here. I'm going to remain calm. There's a lot of questions to be asked here. And in the interim, you're picking up the liabilities, if there are any, over this loan. You and me. Talk to you.